Hello, everyone. So we talked about this before, and a lot of people have forgotten about it. But a lot of people are contacting their local TDs, their local councillors, to say about this. And it is the truth that I know a lot of people have forgotten about it. In June the drought, just next week, the EU Migration Pact is in law, basically. Now, obviously, in 2024, the government voted, was voting the Dáil about it, and the majority of people backed it. It was only backed by 5 votes. That's all the difference, by 5 votes. And of course, the EU Migration Pact, it sounds all well and good that we'll be able to deport people very quickly, etc. But at the same time, we're giving our sovereignty to the European Union on how many people we bring in. And basically, we have to do whatever they tell us to do, which isn't so much of democracy because Ireland has very little to no say in saying to the European Union to go jump a lake if they want to. Because basically, if the European Union turns around and says you need to take 400,000 people in every year, or the other thing is, if they don't take the people in, they would have to pay for the people to be housed in whatever place in, take for example, the Netherlands or wherever. But the Irish government would have to fork over the money for 400,000 people if they won't take them in. But what I'm trying to say is it goes against everything that the country had to fight for its independence and sovereignty, that the people of Ireland should have that say. It's not the people in Brussels, it's not Ursula von der Leyen. And I would suggest that the people of Ireland have the final say in it. If again I would say to the government, they want to have a referendum. They're talking about having a referendum to have another big job for a government minister. The minister have a new ministry in the government. How about to have a referendum on this? Ask the Irish people, should we adopt it? Should we not? And it all sounds well and good. I know people would say it is progress, I suppose, in a way too, because there'll be huge deportations, etc. People that shouldn't be here, allegedly, of course, because again we can never trust the European Union what they tell us. But and of course, asylum hubs, etc. So for example, now being where people be sent to. But this is the thing; it still gives a lot of power to the European Union to do it. It's not like the state, the Irish state, has the authority to decide, like without clicking their fingers, who can deport straight away, etc. It's the European Union who decides that, basically, what I'm trying to say. So it's basically taking away the Irish people, the Irish government's right to decide who gets deported as quick as possible, etc. Taking their right to how many people we take in. Now, at the moment in time, they just let the floodgates open. So, but what I'm trying to say, it's up to the Irish people have the last say, and the Irish government should have the last say. Not so much the European Union. Again, I can never trust them what they would bring in this country, the European Union. Especially with the EU Migration Pact, because they don't seem to have the interests of people at heart. Because for years, Europe has been just flooded with people from here, there, and everywhere, and it's caused huge social divisions across the West. We see in France, we see in other countries, there is division. Like, we can't sit here and be lying to ourselves, because there is. Because it's created a two-tier society, and has really created a two-tier society, where people who come from Timbuktu get housed in hotels, get everything handed to them. And it's the same here in Ireland, that so many Irish people have to go out and work for it, and they're working hard and they can barely make ends meet. And meanwhile, that somebody comes in, a young man from Timbuktu with Nike shoes, etc., comes in and gets a hotel room free of charge, all the money of the day given to him, etc. And this is the simple truth. There's been many examples, unfortunately, like that in Ireland. And people have seen that, and it's caused huge division. It's caused huge internal division in society, and it's all because the European Union wouldn't control their borders. Though what borders, to be totally honest? That's just the simple truth. And that's why we see this. We see it even in Ireland too, with the riots in Dublin, etc. It's caused such harm to the country, and has to Europe too in general. But what I'm trying to say, it's up to the Irish people, the government, to have the final say in it. It's not the European Union. And again, all of this sounds good, the Immigration Pact. I looked through the whole lot of it. It all sounds good on paper, but in reality, it's probably not going to make a difference, because the European Union can basically tell countries what they need to take in, how many people they should take in. If they don't, they have to pay for it. Like, we shouldn't have to pay for anybody who's not in the island of Ireland, except as that. And we shouldn't be paying for the people who are so many people coming in. But my main thing is that it should go to the people. At the end of the day, I would support it if the people of Ireland came out and said yes. 80% voted yes, let's join the European EU Migration Pact. Because at the end of the day, Ireland and Denmark have the choice to say no. They say we won't. We have our own laws. That's as simple as that. But the Irish government refused to stand up, refused to say no. And it's huge. And again, you have to remember, there's thousands as we speak now. I see one TD talking about it in the Dáil that he's got over, I think it was 2 or 3 thousand emails about it, saying that they should demand another vote, or demanded to go to a referendum. And I do think that's the way we should solve in this country. Anything like, particularly such issues like this that are going to affect Ireland in a very heavily way, it should go to the people. That's what it should go to the people. It should go within the next 2 or 3 months to the people of Ireland to vote on, to decide what, because at the end of the day it has huge significance to the state and to Europe. And I do think that's the best option, that the people of Ireland have either yes, we would join it, or no, we won't join it. And I would accept that referendum if people said yes or if people said no. And I think that would be the most fairest option. I think that would be democracy. That would be the most fairest option. That the people decide what's the story, because it has huge consequences. That's what I'm trying to say. It has huge consequences down the road, and there's not really anything to say. Say, for example, if Dáil Éireann pushes it forward now, or if it's adopted, can Ireland, say for example, or even Poland or in other countries, can they leave once they sign on to it, say for example, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? Because I don't know. Again, the European Union, I don't know. I don't trust them. That's to be totally honest with you in terms of this. And again, it all sounds well on paper, but in the reality, there's a lot more darker things to it, as I say, about giving money to people that you won't take in, etc. The European Union basically can tell you who you take in and how many people you take in, etc. And my point is that the government here has the right, and the Irish people have the right to decide that. It shouldn't be decided in Brussels, how many people you take in, etc. And if you don't take them in, you have to pay for them. It doesn't sound right to me, but as I say, the people should have the last say, and I would be happy if that was the case, even if it was no or if it was yes or whatever. I would be happy that the people went out and voted for it and said such and such and such and such, and I would have been like, that's fair enough, that's democracy. I will accept that. But it's the fact of the matter that it is huge. It's going to have huge impact on Irish society, and that's why I suggested to go to a referendum. Now I would ask people to contact or even talk to the local TDs about it, to say to them. And now a lot of them probably were not willing to stand up and say no, but they should really, because the least they should do is say we should have a referendum before adopting it. And I think that would be the most fairest thing for everybody, for both sides. Everybody can say, look, we ask the people and go to them and ask them what they want. And I think that would be fair for everyone. Thank you.